We also studied a little bit about marketing, the market definitions, etc. Today we'll start with the dimensions of the market and then the classification. Okay. So, and please remember to write your attendance in the chat box. Okay. So there are various dimensions of any specified market. These dimensions are location or place of operation, from where it is operating, then area or coverage, how much from how far can the customers easily access this market. Okay, like physically existing market can be accessed from the nearby places or customers residing in nearby areas, but a market that sells or operates online can be visited by anyone all over the world. Then time span, for how long does the market last, like the online market lasts forever. Even in the middle of the night you can shop for whatever you want to, but a physical market has its timing. Okay, then the disadvantages or the these points, like physically existing market, agriculture market usually have these kinds of existence. Online medium has not yet been introduced successfully in the agricultural product marketing. Volume of transaction, in how much quantities are the goods being transferred or the payments are being made. Are they small transactions or big transactions? Then nature of transactions, are they cash or credit? Number of commodities, okay, the variety that is offered in the market. Then degree of competition, how many other producers or competitors are present in the market. Nature of commodities, stage of marketing. So nature of commodities represent the perishability of the commodity, then ease of transporting. All these things come under the nature of the commodity. Then we discussed these points earlier when we were discussing about the agriculture products. Then stage of marketing, at what level of marketing or what channel of marketing are we using, what techniques of marketing have we taken up. Extent of public intervention. So public intervention means how much the customers are a part of the marketing campaign, or how much we are influenced by the likings and needs and wants of the customers. Type of population served, and accrual of marketing margin. So accrual of marketing margin means how successful have we been in establishing a good marketing strategy in the marketing of these products in the market. Of what products? Of agricultural products. Okay. Then next we come to the classification of markets. Classification is obviously also, as we discussed in case of agriculture products, agriculture markets are also classified on various bases. So the first basis is on the basis of location or place of operation. On the basis of place or location or place of operation, markets are of the following types. First is village market. A market which is located in a small village where major transactions take place among the buyers and sellers normally residing in that village is called a village market. Okay, so belonging to a particular village, a smaller market. Then primary markets, these markets are located in towns near the centers of production of agriculture commodities. In these markets, a major part of the produce is brought for sale by the producer farmer themselves. Transactions in these markets usually take place between the farmer and primary traders. Okay, so primary markets are a little bigger than village markets. These offer sale and purchase to people who want to buy the agricultural commodities in on a comparatively larger basis. Third is secondary wholesale markets. These markets are located generally at district headquarters or important trade centers or near railway junctions. The major transaction of commodities in these markets take place between the village traders and seven wholesalers. No, sorry, not seven, and wholesalers. The bulk of the arrivals of these markets are from other markets. The produce in these markets is handled in large quantities. There are therefore specialized marketing agencies performing different marketing functions, such as those of commercial agents, brokers, weighmen in these markets. These markets help in assembling the commodities from neighboring districts and tehsils. So secondary wholesale markets are again a next level to the primary markets. These offer bulk commodities. Okay, these do not offer commodities for sale or retail basis or smaller commodities. They can only be purchased in very large quantities from this type of market. Okay, then here specialized marketing agencies are established or created in order to perform the marketing functions that have been performed by to market these products, the agriculture products. Okay, so specialized marketers are appointed. Next is terminal markets. A terminal market is one where the produce is either finally disposed of to the consumer or processor or assembled for export. In these markets, merchants are well organized and use modern methods of marketing. Commodity exchange exists in these markets, which provide facilities for forward trading in specified commodities. Such markets are located either in metropolitan cities or at seaports. Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Bengaluru, Kolkata and Cochin are terminal markets in India for many commodities. Now these places, these cities that are mentioned here, these cities offer services of usually exporting or importing of products. These are ports or hubs of products being imported or exported into the country or from the country. So terminal markets are the end markets. Here the responsibility of the producer ends and the user or the consumer may be for producing other goods purposes is granted the bulk quantities, okay, whatever they want to purchase. So the terminal market, terminal means the end. A terminal market is one where the produce is either finally disposed of to the consumer or the processor. Okay, then next is seaboard market. Markets which are located near the seashore and are meant mainly for the import and or export of goods are known as seaboard markets. The seaboard market, markets which are located near the seashore and are meant mainly for the import or export of goods, okay, are known as seaboard markets. These are generally seaport towns. Examples of these markets in India are Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata and Kochi. So seaboard markets are markets from where we can load them or transport them through the sea to other countries or the buyers. Okay, so these are similar to terminal markets, but terminal markets can be landlocked terminals as well. Okay, then second basis we come to on the basis of area of or coverage. On the basis of the area from which buyers and sellers usually come for transactions, markets may be classified into the following four classes. First is local or village market, a market in which the buying and selling activities are confined among the buyer and seller drawn from the same village or nearby villages. The village market exists mostly for perishable commodities in small lots, example local milk market or vegetable market. Okay, so these are the markets that usually are established or set up almost daily, and all the villages and small nearby villages can come and purchase their produce from here. So basically it deals in perishable commodities, okay, like milk, etc. Then regional markets, a market in which buyer and seller for a commodity are drawn from a larger area than the local markets. Regional markets in India usually exist for food grains. So these refer to basically the mandis that we call, where you can get all kind of food grains for, maybe say if you want to purchase for a monthly basis or for 6 months. Okay, usually people do store wheat, rice, etc. for a couple of months at home, so they can access the regional markets. They are comparatively bigger than local markets. Then national market, a market in which buyers and sellers spread at the national level. Earlier national markets existed for only durable goods like jute and tea, but with the expansion of roads, transport and communication facility, the market for most of the products have taken the form of national markets. So national markets, obviously these are set up throughout the country, and in every part of the country, so that these offer a wide variety of produce from various areas. Okay, and now, as mentioned here, transportation facility infrastructure has improved considerably well. So a lot of produce is easily available in every part of the nation or the country. Okay, then world or international market, a market in which the buyer and seller are drawn from more than one country or the whole world. Okay, then moving on the basis of time span. So time span, so for how long is the market set up? So short period markets, the markets which are held only for a day or few hours are called short period markets. The product dealt within these markets are of a highly perishable nature, such as fish, fresh vegetables and liquid milk. In these markets, the prices of commodities are governed mainly by the extent of demand for, rather than by the supply of the commodities. So here very short lasting or very perishable items are sold here. Then periodic markets, the periodic markets are congregation of buyers and sellers at specified places, either in villages, semi-urban areas or some parts of the urban areas, on specific days and times. So once a month, once a week. Okay, these are set up in intervals. Major commodities traded in these markets is the farm produce grown in the hinterlands. Hinterland means far away places. The periodic markets are held weekly, bi-weekly, fortnightly, or fortnightly means weekly means every week, bi-weekly means in 2 weeks, fortnightly means in every 15 days, or monthly, according to the local traditions. These are similar to spontaneous markets in several developed countries. Then long period markets. These markets are held for a longer period than the short period markets. The commodities traded in these markets are less perishable and can be stored for some time, like food grains, oil seeds. The prices are governed by the supply and demand forces. So market forces that we call, they decide what would be the prices. If the demand is high and supply is low, obviously they'll start increasing the price so that the demand comes down. Then secular markets. These are markets of a permanent nature. So these set up almost every day. You can go whenever you wish to. The commodities traded in these markets are durable in nature and can be stored for many years. Examples are markets for machinery and manufactured goods. Then, on the basis of volumes of transactions, there are two types of markets on the basis of volume of transaction at a time. Okay, so volume of transaction, the size of transaction or size of commodities transacted. Wholesale market. A wholesale market is one in which commodities are bought and sold in large lots or in bulk. These markets are generally located in either towns or cities. The economic activities around these markets are so intense that over time the population tends to get concentrated around these markets. The whole market for farm product in India can be classified in primary, secondary and terminal wholesale market. Okay, so wholesale markets, obviously we know what wholesale markets are, where you can buy products in larger quantities and you will get a comparatively lower price for it. So the wholesale markets are basically of three types: primary, secondary and terminal, depending on the size. Okay, then the primary wholesale markets are in the nature of assembling centers located in and around producing region. So here we have explained that primary wholesale markets are concentrated in a smaller area. The secondary markets, you can say every district has a secondary market, and terminal markets are, as we discussed, in some cities in India. Then we come to retail markets. A retail market is one in which commodities are bought by and sold to consumers as per their requirements. So transactions in these markets take place between retailers and consumers. The retailers purchase the goods from wholesale market and sell it in small lots to the consumer in retail markets. These markets are very near to the consumer. The distinction between the wholesale and retail market can be made mainly on the basis of buyer. A retail market means that the buyer are generally ultimate customers, whereas in the wholesale market the buyer can be wholesaler or retailer. But sometimes bulk consumers also purchase from wholesale markets. The quantity transaction in retail market is generally smaller than the wholesale markets. Okay, so there's nothing too difficult in this. Then next we come to the next basis, on the basis of nature of transaction. The markets which are based on type of transaction in which people are engaged are of two types. First is spot or cash markets. A market in which these goods are exchanged for money immediately after the sale is called the spot or cash market. So on the spot you purchase the product and you pay cash for it. Okay. Now cash means we are paying on the spot when we are taking the commodity. Okay, definitely does not have to be in mode of cash. You can even pay through card, etc. But it refers to that you are paying at that moment itself. Forward markets, a market in which the purchase and sale of commodity takes place at time, but the exchange of the commodity takes place on some specified date in the future. That is sometimes even on the specified date in the future, need to concern with this, on a specified date in the future, there may not be any exchange of the commodity. Instead, the differences in the purchase and sale prices are paid or taken. Okay, so forward markets, we create the contract or we agree on the transaction for a future date. Okay, so we in advance we create this transaction that yes, I will buy this amount of commodity from you on this particular date. Please deliver these items to me. Okay, and I will pay you. But the benefit is that the buyer gets the quoted price as of the day when they decided to do the transaction. For example, I go to the forward market and today I make the deal that I will buy 10 bags of rice on maybe say the 10th of next month. Okay, so the seller will deliver me 10 bags of rice on the 10th of next month. Okay, but I will pay according to the price that is that rice is running today. Okay, जो प्राइस आज चल रहा है उसके अकॉर्डिंग ही मैं पे करूँगी, not according to what the price is on the delivery date. Okay, so that is the benefit of forward markets. Then next is on the basis of number of commodities in which transaction takes place. A market may be general or specialized on the basis of number of commodities in which transactions are completed. So general markets, a market in which all types of commodities such as food grains, oilseed, fiber crops, good, etc. are bought and sold, is known as general market. These markets deal in a large number of commodities. So general markets usually deal with all these type of products and not means they can offer almost all kinds of products. Okay, they're not specified to any specific product. And specialized markets, a market in which transaction take place only in one or two commodities, is known as a specialized market. Like for food grains especially, there would be a market like in Jabalpur as well. If you see, if you want to buy food grains, you will have to go to a specific place that where all the bulk commodities of food grains are available in good prices and in a considerably good variety. But if you want to buy vegetables, there would be another market. If you want to buy textile, there would be another market. So that specifies a specialized market. Okay, then next, on the basis of degree of competition, each market can be placed on a continuous scale, starting from a perfectly competitive point to a pure monopoly or monopoly situation. So basically, degree of competition means how many producers are actually operating in the market. Nevertheless, it is useful to know their characteristics in addition to two extremities, various midpoints of this continuum. have been identified on the basis of competition. So the categories are, first is perfect markets. So these you may have already studied: perfect markets, imperfect market, monopoly. Okay, these are taught since the I think since class 11th you may be studying these topics. So perfect market is one where large number of buyers and sellers are there, the products are homogeneous, okay, and firm is price taker, market is the price maker, then prices are constant in this type of market. Then imperfect market are opposite to it. Here prices keep on falling down, and a part of perfect market is monopoly market. So monopoly market, what does monopoly represent? Monopoly represents that there are only one or two sellers for that particular commodity. So I'm not going to read the entire thing, we know what all is included. Then duopoly means where there are two sellers. Mono means one, so one seller. Duopoly means two sellers. These they may mutually agree to charge a common price which is higher than the 11 than the hypothetical price in a common market. The market situation in which there are only two buyers of the commodity is known as duopoly. Then oligopoly market. So oligopoly represents a market where there are only few sellers. Okay, oligopoly represents few sellers. A market in which there are more than two but still a few sellers of a commodity are termed as oligopoly market. The market having a few buyers is known as oligopsony market. Then fourth one is monopolistic. So monopolistic, when a large number of buyers and sellers deal in heterogeneous product, means differentiated products. The products are same, but every product has a different feature or special characteristic attached to it. They are known as monopolistic market. The difference is made conspicuous by different trademarks on the product, like Maggi and Yippee. These are two monopolistic products. Different prices prevail for the same basic product. Example, the monopolistic competition faced by farmers may be drawn from the input market. For example, they have to choose between various makes of insecticides, pump sets, fertilizers, equipment. So this equipment and the material would be same, but every material, every equipment would have a different feature attached to it, which creates a differentiation in price of that product. And next is on the basis of nature of commodity. So commodity markets and capital markets. So commodity market means a market which deals in goods and raw materials such as wheat, barley, cotton, fertilizer, seeds, etc. are termed as commodity markets, whereas the market in which bonds, shares, securities are bought and sold are called capital markets. Okay, so in capital markets, capital goods are sold. So these are capital goods. For example, money markets and share markets. Okay, we have more differentiations or classifications, so this we'll cover in next class. Okay, I think this is too much for today. Do you have any questions regarding this? I hope everyone has understood. These were simple segregations that we studied today. Okay, if you have any doubt, you can ask. No? Yes or no?
No, ma'am.
ठीक है. So let's end the class for today. Okay, thank you girls.